How you doing? Graham Lawler here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, what I do is home brewing. Brew it, taste test it and review it. Today I'm doing an all grain. It's a Guinness clone in my Carlston all-in-one system. What I'm doing here now, the recipe I have is supposedly I found it online, and it's meant to be very similar. Some might say better than Guinness. Will it be? We'll see. And what the grain list is anyway in this is 2.93 kg of Bladfield ale malt. We have 1.13 kg of Thomas Fassett barley flaked grain, and then we have 450 grams of Thomas Fassett roasted barley. And then the hop addition at the end will have 65 grams of Isa Kent Goldings. What we do is I'm going to start off with my water, my mash at 67 degrees, and of 25 litres of water. Then when I have the mash done, I'm going to go on to the sparge water. We're going to use 9.8 litres sparge water at 80 degrees. Now that's a total of 34.8 litres of water, but that'll boil off. So if you're looking at this and saying, oh well, I've only a 30 litre system, so have I. But it's the boil off rate and stuff, and what's left in the grain and stuff to be a bit of moisture. So all in all, when it's finished, you should still end up with your 40 points, 23 litres and 40 points. So I have this set now. It's at 67 degrees, and I have my grain basket in. So I am going to go ahead now and add in my grains, which I got ordered from the homebrew company. You send them your list, they'll millify you everything else that you want them to do, and then you can go ahead and make your own recipes. So we'll go on here now to the mash. Okay, so the mash, you're literally getting your bag of your pre-milled grains and you are tipping them in. When I get about halfway through, I will stop. That's about halfway. Get my stirring paddle. Give it an old whirl. Make sure we've no clumps. End up with a few dough balls. You don't want that. That's well mixed already. Add in the rest. Oh my god, the smell of that is amazing. Get that all in there. Don't have to waste any of that goodness. Just give it another stir. Let's see there now. There's what you'd call. See the way little clumps. They're what you call the dough balls. But sure, we won't have any of them. Now I'll just get down to the bottom. Give it a. Don't need to be nothing too forceful. You'd feel them if there's nothing in it. There you go. There now. Look, that felt a bit. Oh my god, that smells good. It's only the mash, it already smells amazing. The old Guinness brewery. It's lovely. Hopefully now this turns out well. I've done a good few Guinness clones now, but they weren't exactly the same as a Guinness, which I think we'll find it hard anyway, but they were nice. You've probably seen some of the other videos anyway. So we have that on there now. I want to leave the lid on that now for 60 minutes and then we'll be on to sparging. Okay, so the mash has been on for the last 20 minutes. I'm just going to show you here now. You do a bit of recirculation when it's going a few times. So simply measuring jug, and you can see here now the colour of it and the smell of it. It smells great. So what I'm doing here now is, this is the wort basically, which we'll be left with, is coming out. So I'm washing the grain, so there's no recirculation on this. So I literally fill up the jug, take off the lid, and I'll pour it back over the grains. So it's washing through the grains again. I'll do that a number of times. I'll do it now a couple of times, then I'll do it probably another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes, so on. You don't have to do it exactly as I'm doing it. Everybody does it differently. Just to show you, that's recirculation. Okay, so it's been on the boil there, well not on the boil actually, at 67 degrees for the last hour. So now that is your mash. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift up the grain basket. It's very heavy. have my daughter Sarah here. Say hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Who always helps me with my brewing. So I'm going to lift this up slowly. It's very, very heavy. That's why I have Sarah, and it's fairly hot. So I'm going to let a little bit drain out first so I can get it to the height I want. You can see flying over there. Now this will click in like so. So now all of the water is going to go down here and it'll leave me with my wort. Then what I'll do is I'll have my sparge water, have that in there now on the cooker. It's heating up to 80 degrees. When I have that, I will pour that over the grains and it'll wash out the rest of the goodness, and then we'll be ready to put it on the boil. Okay, so all the sparge water was done. It's drained out of the basket. We now have the Carlston system up to a boiling point, and it's on timer now for an hour, so 60 minutes to the boil. We have our 65 grams of East Kent Golding hops. Smell nice. These are very, very regularly used in all these stouts. Most of the stouts I do seem to have this hop, so literally going to sprinkle them in there like so. No need to muzzle them bag or anything like that. Get them all in there. Then next stage is I'm going to leave that. Make sure you leave your lid off during the boiling process. Then what we will have is 15 minutes to the boil. I'll put in my cooling coil. That'll sterilise it. And then in 10 minutes to the boil, I'll put in my Warlock tablet, which will help clear it. So I'm going to let that do its thing, and I'm going to enjoy a pint of my homebrew. Just lovely. Okay, so it's fully done now. You can see there we have the cooling coil connected in. We have the cold water supply coming off the mains. Goes into the cooling coil. This is the cooling coil for any of you who don't know what it is. And there you have the hot water coming out. Usually I'd keep this in another fermenter and use the hot water over for cleaning the Carlston system, but to be honest I just don't have time to do that tonight. So we'll let that cool. We get it transferred into the fermenter, and then we'll be pitching the yeast. Okay, so now we have the wort cooled down. Quite simply, just get my fermentation bucket. In this case it's my clear fermentation barrel, and I'm literally going to open this tap, let it fill in up to here, pick up a lot of oxygen the way in, and then we'll pitch the yeast and we'll be ready then to leave it to ferment. So I'm literally going to open this valve like so. I'm just going to let that transfer from here all the way in. I'll stop her right at the end. There'll be a lot of gunk left, turb as we call it. So that's it. Next we'll be on to pitching the yeast. Okay, so the wort now is fully transferred into my fermentation bucket, barrel, whatever you want to call it. I have my cave ale yeast ready to go. So you rehydrate this. Here's what you do first. 100 ml of water between 30 and 35 degrees. Sprinkle the yeast in, leave it for 15 minutes. Then briefly give it a stir, leave it for 5 minutes, and then you're left with a liquidy type paste. This yeast, I believe you can pitch it up to nearly 39 degrees. I think it doesn't say on it actually, does it? It doesn't, but I think that but this will be very, very active. So we get that in there, scrape in as much of that as we can. More in the better. Now that is the yeast pitched. So okay, so now it's time for the tasting. I'll just hold the point here now. So my throat have a little bit of a dose on me. So as you've seen in the video, what I've done now is this is actually 8 weeks. No, it's not, 7 weeks. I've left it aging for 7 weeks. I tried it about 3 weeks ago. I wasn't too happy with it. It was very, very roasted, like nearly too much roasted. So I've left it back down in the shed near enough freezing temperature, hoping to get rid of some of the roasted flavour. When I tasted it, it was a lovely creamy pint. Unfortunately, it still isn't a Guinness. I know that, as I said at the start of the video, a guy online recommended it. He said it was as good as, if not better than Guinness. In my opinion, when I tasted it originally, it definitely wasn't as good as a Guinness. Yes, it held its own in the stout category, but it still wasn't a Guinness. So we'll just let that settle there. You can see it has the lovely cascading effect. The head on it, as you can see there, is nice and creamy. It's not as white as a Guinness, but it's a bit more of a creamy texture, more so than white. Nice head. Hopefully it doesn't get much bigger than that. I'll go ahead and top it off. Now, there you have it. And I can still smell, yes, it smells like a stout, but I can still smell that roast. I think it may be a little bit too much roasted barley has gone into it. But we'll give it a second now, and the proof will be in the pudding now when I taste it. I'd usually let this settle completely, but I don't want the video dragging on and on. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sup. As you can see there, nice head, nice creamy pint. Give it a go. The creamy head matches the pint. It's a very, very creamy pint. It feels lovely going down. It's actually very, very silky. Very creamy. Actually, I think it's probably a bit creamier than a Guinness. The roasted flavour is still there. If I could get rid of that roasted flavour a bit more, I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm not gonna drink that keg. I'm going to put it back down, give it another few weeks, and see if it disappears a bit more, because that really has the potential to be a lovely stout. It's nice. I wouldn't be in a massive rush to go brewing it again, for the simple reason I like to brew them, leave them between 4 and 6 weeks max, as you see in the other videos, and if they turn out great, I can drink them. I don't like storing loads of stuff down in my fridge, as I have plenty of other brews going on between me, ciders, wines, beers, everything else. Anyway, if you like the video, like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.